Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, February 29th, 2024. This only happens once every 4 years, guys. How about that? The leap year. Let's go ahead and jump on back to what happened yesterday. It was pretty shitty market. We didn't have a lot of volume, not a lot of volatility, not much in terms of range. So give me 1 second here. Yeah, we are recording, baby. So let's look. This is going to be probably one of the quickest reviews because once again, we had a very tight market, low volume, low volatility, and we just chopped around, didn't go anywhere. We didn't nail the high and the low of the day like we do on many occasions, and it just kind of petered around. Now, out of the open, yes, if you would have got short off Hopel and or the VWAP here, right in this area, never broke by more than 2 points, you would have captured that first little micro pullback that shortly after the open, we did kind of open at the 200 and then pop into the VWAP there. So you did have that. If you shorted the first roadmap level here, you would have got 5, 6, 7 points out of it, but it was very short-lived, no pun intended, and then popped back up. Now, this was a very frustrating occurrence here where it popped through the VWAP by just over 2 points. It was like this was a really nice opportunity where we came up, got back up through VWAP, pulled back, actually held it on the first test, but then they had to do that, right? And they went ahead and flushed it through by just about 2.25 points, and it was one of those textbook 50 to 60 1/8 retraces to bring us up to higher highs for the morning. Again, nothing really amazing to look at here. We did get a test of the 200 as we were breaking out. Didn't break by more than 2 points. It was just under 2 points. So that would have been another, just like the short off Hopel, the long off the 200 after we started breaking out through 50% of the previous day, would have been another good play. But it didn't go more than about 5, 6 points, maybe 5 points if you were lucky. And then it came right back down, right into the mean for the day, popped around, and again, just didn't do very much. There were some decent rotations around 50% of the previous day, but again, just a total chop fest, nothing to really boast about. And that's how yesterday played out. They did push down and come right back to that roadmap level at 66.5. So the low of the day was literally 1 tick in front of that 66.5 level, which, by the way, if you go back, remember, that was the major low from yesterday that I told you we could get down through 50% of the previous day, and hopeful here we're targeting right to that level. I'm going to take it off the chart now that we've used it as support. Remember, it was just a major swing in the market. So that's where we came down to yesterday, and once again found the major low at the end of the day and popped out. So let's look at what happened in the overnight session, and we'll go into the pre-market here. So overnight, again, nothing super notable. They did kind of hold right around the previous daily close here out of the open of the Globex session and popped it. But nothing really super sexy. We did hold the previous daily close as we were getting the crossovers here and market was pushing lower. There's your test of the previous daily close with beautiful divergences and some nice parries back and forth between our two roadmap levels all night, right? So now this level I always have to kind of point out, and sometimes I even forget, is that our Hopel doesn't print until 5 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific. And so that wasn't on the chart on that first parry. It was the previous daily close, didn't break by more than a few ticks there, and then we held it again. And then the Hopel printed based off the overnight price action, and then you can see it still was holding very nicely and kind of parrying. Again, back and forth between these two relevant roadmap levels, and then we had the news drop here just about a half hour ago. And when that happened, I had already written up the whole news report had all my levels, had all my bias stuff in there. And then next thing you know, news drops and we popped all the way out and actually broke out through the previous daily high, which is what we want to see for the bulls this morning, to have any faith that this is the beginning of a rotation. And by the way, this rotation, this pullback onto the overnight low right there at 50.60, that was the 38 retrace of last week's price action, right? So if we go up to the 60 minutes, so we get this bird's eye view of everything. If you measure this nice push from last week's low all the way up to the high of last week, we've got our 50% down here we're aware of at 41.25. The 38 was nearly to the tick, the low of last night, right? So overnight session came right to the 38, and what do you know? News dropped, and now we're getting the bounce. So again, another beautiful example of why we look at fibs, and we can see day in, day out how relevant they become for major rotations in the market. So that brings us here this morning to the first resistance above the previous daily high, which was 50.99.25, and we are testing into it at the moment. So let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames, and we'll see what they have to say for this morning.